Hey, you're an average Joe in America, and as a responsible citizen, you've been keeping up with issues in our country. Or maybe you're like the most of us, couch potatoes, just seeing what the news got for us. You might have noticed that recently things have gotten pretty heated up. Yes, each party has beef. They want beef. And I'm not talking about steak or overfed cows. You turn on the news and all you hear about is Democratic versus Republicans, radical left versus radical right, red versus blue, donkey versus elephant, left versus right.
Whoa, where's all that aggression coming from? What led to our country arguing like couples going through a difficult phase of their relationship, instead of getting work done for the betterment of our country? Well, let's tackle these questions and more and find out why a nation divided cannot stand.
Let's start at the formation of our U.S. government. Since the very start, our country has always been divided on some sort of important issue. At the time, the issue was on how much power our central government should have. Two distinct political groups formed, the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Even under our first ever president, George Washington's time in office, there was conflict brewing in the background about central government involvement. Big old George was very aware of this, and in his farewell address had to say this about the spirit of party.
It agitates the community with ill-founded jealousy and false alarms, kindles the animosity of one part against another.
Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Basically, good old George, our first president, warned us that the formation of political parties would result in some major issues.
Okay, so this is a pretty broad topic. Let's break it down into a couple of issues that impact us and our communities. So let's take, for example, the situation of healthcare and taxes in our country today. Starting with healthcare. Healthcare has been the subject of major political debate for over 80 years. So let's see how much progress has been made, shall we?
The Commonwealth Fund conducted a study in which they primarily surveyed the general public and primary care physicians in 11 different countries. In order to rank those countries on their healthcare performance, the results show that the United States being ranked last on nearly every single criteria. This is all to say that although healthcare is a hotly debated subject on this day, neither party is really happy with how things are going, and there is still very significant progress that needs to be made.
Now let's move on to that second issue, taxes, one of life's two guarantees alongside death. Now the history of the issue of taxes is as old as the US itself. Everyone remembers learning about no taxation without representation. So let's once again see how things are going today.
In 2019, the Pew Research Center surveyed Americans on their views of our taxation system, in which over half said that our current system was some level of unfairness. This same survey showed that the divide between Democrats and Republicans on this issue have been increasing, and is at the worst it's been in 2 entire decades.
But as most things in life, there are both good and bad sides. It could be argued that our country may not be as divided as we think.
By and large, we actually gravitate towards the middle, because people, when you sit down with them, they're not all that different on the issues. And I even met the first, Sam Adams, the first openly gay mayor of a U.S. city, Portland, Oregon, who forged a big partnership with the evangelical community, who said to me, 8 out of 10 issues, I'm going to agree with him. Why are we talking about the 2 when we should be talking about the 8?
But it's also important to look at how political polarization impacts our communities and how we interact with each other. So we ask around our area to see how the divide affects the people in ours.
My parents, especially since they live there, have argued quite a bit, and I tend to distance myself from those family members. So it's quite dramatic.
I have definitely stressed about political issues before, because it just is a very relevant topic in our news and just normal conversations. I feel like people are usually talking about it.
My family is very diverse in our political views. We do like to delve into some topics and get one another's opinions, but we do have respect for what the other person says.
What's also pretty interesting is that according to another Pew Research Center study, 9 out of 10 Americans labeled the conflict between Democrats and Republicans as either strong or very strong. When you compare these results next to other pressing issues in our country, it's pretty ironic that the thing we agree on most is that we disagree on things. We reached out to our city vice mayor to see how the national issue affects us locally.
Politics is local, And it just, you have to learn to listen to everyone, because we're not a completely democratic city either. So that's where you have to, I'm not just vice mayor for 75% of our city. You have to be listening to everyone. And a lot of people on any side of any situation that we have, I think, feel that they're not listened to when we make a decision that does not agree with them. And that is not the case.
When it comes to the most important issues in our country, such as the one we've talked about and more, if you ask me how I would solve this problem, I'd say I don't know the solution, but what I do know is that the solution is not going to come easy. The only way we can find that solution is by working together. We may be divided, but that doesn't mean that we can't seek compromise. Really, what we need to do is to become a nation united.